What is up, everybody? Welcome in. My name is Craig Crash Collins, and it is Friday night, another fantastic Friday of high school football, and we're ready to wrap that up. Kind of the maiden voyage of something like this. I wanted to go live, kind of wind down the night of high school football here in the state of Indiana. Kind of a test run for this type of content. So I hope you guys are having fun tonight. Hope you guys are having a good time. I'm nervously watching my cat because she's probably going to jump onto my laptop, and that's not going to be good for anyone involved. See, knew that was going to happen, but you know what? It happened. We're there. We did it. But yeah, so kind of the main voyage for something like this. I wanted to kind of wrap up the night of high school football by getting into it. So if you're watching on TikTok, I am live on YouTube. We're going to be looking at some of the highlights and scores. Yes, that is my cat. She's hanging out. Thoughts on Brownsburg? Dude, Brownsburg is really good. We talked about it. B. Scott and I at the beginning of the year, we talked about how good Jaden Whitaker and company could be. And man, they have exceeded expectations. They were my dark horse to potentially contend for a state championship, and they have lived up to that billing. So I've really been impressed with Brownsburg this year. I mean, the score on Max Preps right now is misleading because it says that they beat Noblesville tonight 106-14. That obviously isn't correct. But I mean, looking in, 45-28 was the win. We don't have any stats, at least not on Max Preps right now. I mean, Noblesville is one of those teams they're not very good this year. But like they're a team that I feel like has been in it. They've played, they've opened up, the new stadium with the win. They were really impressive in that game. Came up a little bit short. But for the most part, they've been a solid team in terms of, playing up to the caliber of teams they're facing. So, obviously, 28 points, on Brownsburg. And so, Brownsburg continues to kind of flex their muscles and show how good they are. Looking at some other scores from around the state right now, we've got Cathedral absolutely putting it on Brebeuf. Brebeuf's been kind of a disappointment this year. Bishop Chatard, a big 49-0 win over Terre Haute North Vigo. Carroll, absolutely dominating their game. It was 44-0 the last time I saw from over there. Carroll's been a fantastic team this season. Evansville Memorial is Evansville Memorial up 34-0 on Bossy right now. Let's see, what's that score right now? No, Evansville Rights. Evansville Rights up 34-0 on the Bossy Bulldogs there. So that's a big lead right now for them. Am I on the top 25 on Max Preps right now? I don't know that I am completely. Oh yeah, Rights is 24th. Warren Central with the 20-13 win over Carmel. That's pretty impressive. Looking at some other scores here, Alexandria takes down Frankton on senior night, 29-22. Right now, the North Huskies 20-3 right now lead there. Westfield gonna get the win. They're up 28-17 on Fishers. That's one that kind of shocked me a little bit, just from the standpoint of, Fishers has been getting up for these games all year. Fishers, that defense of Fishers is really good. Brady Wolf is incredible. Two-time 3C Media Player of the Week. So we got to give the shout-out to him. Westfield, who I think has – Westfield's a team that come a sectional time is going to be – really, I think, ready and hungry to prove just how good they are, because they've, I feel like, been on the wrong end of a lot of these top 25 in the state matchups. What is Zionsville Avon right now? Last time I knew it was tied at 20 apiece. Let me look that up. Actually, Avon right now with the 27-20 lead on Zionsville. That's pretty impressive there. Let me see if I can pull up some of the any highlights or anything like that on Twitter. Let's see. Mooresville, the 3C Media game of the week. Mooresville versus Martinsville. Mooresville with a field goal with 33 seconds left. That's pretty insane. Look, I'm always impressed. That seemed like a pretty long field goal, too. It doesn't say the length in the tweet, but look, I think it's kicking is very underrated in high school football, I feel like. Maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe it doesn't need to be, anything. It keeps telling me, this is the first time I've ever done a TikTok live. It keeps telling me to swipe, which I don't really understand. I don't really think I need to swipe anything right now. But you know what? It's telling me nonetheless. So Mooresville, Martinsville, they're tied. That's a good game going on right now. What's your thoughts on Northwood? I mean, Northwood, let's see, how is Northwood doing this year? I guess they're ranked. I know that. Northwood. Oh, I mean, they're 7-0. They're 7-0 playing Wawa C tonight. I knew they were. I was like, I know they're ranked. I know they're good. I just, for whatever reason, was drawing a blank because I think we had their kicker. Speaking of kicker, I think their kicker, DeFreitas, I think is his name. He was our all 3C media team kicker, I believe. I mean, Northwood, obviously 7-0. You're top 3 in the AP poll, top 5 in the coaches poll. I mean, they're going to be a contender. I mean, it's going to be tough. There's a lot of tough teams. Dude, 4A is going to be just a bloodbath. You've got New Pal, number 1. They've been good all year, obviously, 7-0. Roncalli, I mean, who's slowing down Luke Hansen? East Central's incredible. Kokomo's good. I mean, look, there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-0 teams in the top 10. 6 7-0 teams in the top 10. That is nuts. And then again, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the top 13 that have 1 loss or fewer. So you've got 9 or 10 teams of the top 9 or 10 teams of the top 13 have 1 loss or fewer. That's insane. Can Center Grove win it again? I think what's funny about Center Grove is the fact that they've been good all year, but because of teams, like Hamilton Southeastern, like Brownsburg, Carmel's always in the headlines. I feel like Center Grove has been kind of undervalued for what they've been able to do this year. I mean, 38-14 tonight over Lawrence North. They're number 3 in the state. You've got Hamilton Southeastern, who's really good. They win also 38-14 tonight over Franklin Central. I mean, that's pretty incredible in and of itself. I mean, you got Cathedral, their first season back in 6A at the state's highest level. So there's been a lot of teams that I think have stolen the spotlight from Center Grove. But I think they can get back there. It's going to be tough. I mean, doing a 3-peat in any sport is incredible. So to be able to do that would be insane. So I think they can. We'll see. Whiteland's been good. They've been incredible this year. Ooh, by the way, Northwood 57-0 tonight over Wawasee. So there you go. 25th team in the state. Whiteland. Who do they play tonight? Oh, 45-14 winners over Plainfield. Whiteland, the Warriors, 6-1 on the year. They've been good. They've been that team 4-1 in their conference. See, I'm trying to see. I always get like confused like who's in what class. Do you have any thoughts on Owen Valley? They're in 3A. I think Owen Valley is very underrated. Owen Valley's got a lot of talent on their roster. I know they've got some good talents on really both sides of the football. Their names are escaping me, but I know when we did the 3C media, the all 3C media team for the first half, I know there's a lot of players that kind of creep up there on the docket. I think they're going to be good come tournament time. I think they're going to be good come sectional. They're kind of sneaky team come sectional time. I've got so many tabs open, and Whiteland's not loading for me. But I mean, 6-1, they are a good team. I think they're going to be in good shape. Let's see here. I'll have a better analysis on them here in a second once I get some stuff going here. Do you know Milan? I know of Milan. How are they doing this year? What about Franklin Central? Franklin Central has taken it on the chin the last couple of weeks. The analysis that I always did, in basketball season when I broadcasted high school basketball was, it's because it's a situation where every single team makes the tournament. Sometimes you can like spin it and say those games are really good because they get you prepared, for the talent level, and what you're going to see come sectional time. They get beat by Fishers. They get beat by who'd they get beat by tonight? Hamilton Southeastern. So it's been a tough couple of weeks, but they're the 19th team in the state and for a reason. And hopefully these games kind of toughen them up a little bit. Northwood is good. Northwood is very good this season. I mean, 57-0 over Wawasee. It's one of those things where you might think, well, hey, Wawasee must not be all that great this season, but I mean, beating a team 57-0, is no small task. So, a good win by them tonight. Owen Valley isn't talked about enough. Are you the same person that's been commenting on all the videos like Owen Valley? Because I hear you. Don't worry. I hear you. I see you. I understand what you're saying. I am with you 100%. They've had. Let me see. I was like, I know they've had. Here, let me just move this tab over. I think next week we may just go live. So just to let you know, I'm thinking out loud right here. Next week we may just go live on TikTok. I'm trying to see. I don't know if TikTok will save my VOD so that I can put them onto YouTube later. But right now we are live both on YouTube and TikTok. So if you're watching on YouTube, go check out the TikTok channel. If you're watching on TikTok, go check out the YouTube channel. but they are crazy good. Well, yeah, no, I thought you might, because I know there is someone who keeps going into videos on the channel and talking about how good Owen Valley is. I mean, they're 100% right. I mean, I don't disagree with them. I do not disagree with them in the slightest on that. Last week they took down Mishawaka, Northwood. Yeah, I mean, 7-0. Let's see here. It's like I know Owen Valley's got some. There's just so much to keep track of with high school football and just high school sports in general. Um, that like I'm like, oh yeah, I know I've seen Owen Valley everywhere. I feel like, as far as like having players with good numbers and being up there and here. Yeah, Brody Lester top 50 in the state, top 40 in the state, 37th right now in passing. What is that? What are these numbers here? There's the touchdowns. That's the number I wanted. 18 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, incredible ratio there. Completing 69% of his passes. That's awesome. That's insane. Oh, this is what? Do you have leading rushers and passers for the year so far? Yeah, so I've got leading passers up right now. Jackson Willis, front of the show, front of the TikTok channel. He's right now leading, going into the night, 2,030 yards, 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He was our 3C Media. He was on the All 3C Media team, quarterback through the first half of the season. Will most likely be there again, although Cooper Simmons Little for Traders Point. Always have a spot in my heart for them. I used to broadcast Traders Point football. So he's leading it when it comes to passing yards, completing 68% of his passes, 26 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Rushing wise, it's going to be Luke Hansen, I'm pretty sure. Because Luke Hansen's been an absolute beast. Yep. Luke Hansen, going into the night. So going into the night, he had 1,896 yards. So he's probably surpassed 2,000 yards for the season, which is absolutely bonkers. Averaging basically 7 yards per carry, 24 touchdowns. I know. There's a lot of people clamoring, or at least a few people at least clamoring on the channel for Luke Turnanchik from Oak Hill. 31 touchdowns on the year. He scored a lot of touchdowns. He does have the same yards per carry, pretty much. Or I mean, actually, it's about a half yard better yards per carry wise. But I mean, Luke Hansen he's got it all. I mean, Luke Hansen's got the rushing yards. He's got the touchdowns. He's got only 1 fumble on the year, the yards per carry. So even though Turnanchik is a little bit, better in some of the numbers, I mean. Now, granted, too, it's all off of Max Prep. So if people don't put the stats on Max Preps, then you're a little bit out of luck. 1A, let's see. And hey, guys, I appreciate the likes. Again, this is kind of the maiden voyage of something like this. I appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. We're streaming right now on YouTube and TikTok. I wanted to kind of see how this would go because I want to make this a weekly thing. This may just be kind of something informal I do with you guys on TikTok, and then maybe post to YouTube later. Or maybe we just go full bore into the TikTok. We'll see how that goes. 1A rushing. You got Anthony, SCHUH. Is that Shoe? I'm going to say it's Shoe. Regardless, he's got 1,276 yards on the season, 22 touchdowns. It looks like the only running back in the top 10 with over 20 touchdowns. You have Reed Messer from North Decatur also with 20 touchdowns, but he's 14th in rushing. So he's one of the few running backs at 1A that has the yardage and the touchdown. So he has 1,276 yards, so he's over 1,000 yards and 22 touchdowns. So pretty incredible numbers there. You've got Austin Smith from North Miami. He's got 1,220 yards, 12 touchdowns. You have Parker Burke from Tri, 1,113 yards, 17 touchdowns. Corbin Johnson from South Decatur. South Decatur's having themselves quite a year this year. South Decatur's got. Or no, I'm thinking of South Putnam, who has the basically best return tandem in the state right now. But still, South Decatur's good. Peyton Cross, 10,000. There's only 5 running backs at 1A that have over 1,000 yards. Peyton Cross from Sheridan, Corbin Johnson from South Decatur, Parker Burke from Tri, Anthony Shue from Triton, and Austin Smith from North Miami. So, looking at some of the live scores right now, this still says Carroll is only in the second quarter. I know for a fact they're not in the second quarter anymore. So that game hasn't been updated. But you've got Fishers with the win. Elder taking down Roncalli. Elder must not be from, yes, they're from Cincinnati, Ohio. Whenever a team from Indiana takes on Ohio, I just never have high hopes because Ohio is just the hotbed. East Central putting it on Garin Catholic, 41-7. Crown Point, another incredible game. They're up 35-13. New Powell, all over Newcastle tonight, 63-12. Do you like Weibo? I do like Weibo. Weibo's got a lot of talent this year. Whoever's putting Weibo's stats on Max Preps, tell them to get on it because one of the reason why. Sorry, I don't mean to take a Gatorade break mid-sentence, but the reason why one of their players didn't make the All-3C Media team was because their stats didn't match. Like, the stat page on Max Preps didn't match the athlete page for the player that I wanted to choose. So I didn't want to be wrong. I didn't want to be, put out, misinformation. So I didn't end up choosing that player from Weibo. But Weibo in general, Weibo is one of those teams that's just always in it. And so is Danville. I do think Western Boone is better than Danville this season. They've got a little bit better talent in my opinion. But yeah, Weibo is always good. Weibo is always good. Cathedral tonight, 42-21 over Brebeuf. Brebeuf's kind of had a disappointing year, like I mentioned a little bit earlier. Avon ends up beating Zionsville. Mooresville with the upset over Martinsville in the 3C Media Game of the Week. So there you go on that one. Finally, Brownsburg and Noblesville's score is correct. It's not 106-14 anymore. But yeah, I know Weibo had a couple of players. Weibo's 4A, if I recall, right? Or are they 3A? See if Whiteland wants to load for me. Whiteland 6-1. Whiteland beat Mooresville and they beat Plainsfield. Yeah, so thoughts on Hamilton Southeastern? They've been incredible. Hamilton Southeastern, I did not expect just how good they've been this year. I mean, they've they've exceeded my expectations. They really have. Because they were not a team I was looking at going into the year. They weren't on my radar. Um, and to go out and beat Fishers, they've gone out and slayed the giants that they've needed to slay. I mean, let me pull up their schedule on the year. They've been insane. I mean, they're the number 2 team in the state. I mean, what do you want to say outside of that? I mean, and they're that way for a reason. I mean, 8-0 on the year. They've beat Lawrence Central, they beat North Central, they beat Avon, they beat Fishers, they beat Westfield, they beat Zionsville. I mean, those aren't easy games. I mean, they go into Westfield and beat the Rocks on the road. They beat they beat Fishers at home. They they do play Brownsburg next week, so that's good. Next week is going to be the true test. The true test will be next week when they play Brownsburg. What is the discrepancy between the team we believe is the best in the state and the team that's number 2? And I think it's closer than we think. I think that's going to be a really good game. Who do you think is going to win between Webo or Lebanon? Well, I think I would lean Webo. A lot of good wins for Webo this year as a 3A school. I always like when 3A schools go out and play teams or I love when schools in general play above their class quite a bit, like teams at the top, because I saw a lot. This is kind of 3C Media's first foray into covering high school sports, so I apologize if I don't seem very polished or I don't have all the insight that I maybe should have or should have. But it's really something that I've grown very interested in. Want to keep doing the content on the channel. And what I've noticed, or what we noticed in basketball when we covered the state championship this year, or the state tournament in basketball, is that there are some schools that will have good records, but they played either their class or below. And so when you go above your class, I know a lot of it's mainly regional. It's regional. You're playing teams in your area, no matter what their class is. But still, I mean, there is some wiggle room there in who you play, and to go out and perform against schools above your class, I think that says a lot. So I mean, they've got wins over Western, a 4A school. They've got a win over Frankfort, who's a 4A school. They're averaging 42 points a game, only allowing 14 points a game. So they've only allowed 22 points or more. They've only allowed 20 points or more in 2 games this season, going into tonight's game against Danville, which I don't have a score for. So I would lean Webo. I mean, looking at Lebanon, they're 5-2. They had a couple of tough losses early in the year against Zionsville and Danville, so they're on a little bit of a roll. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go Webo there. 30-7 Webo. Yeah, I'm leaning Webo. They've just been too. They've been very impressive on offense. They've had the defense. I don't think Lebanon has the offense to go toe to toe with Webo. I think the defense for Lebanon can slow down Webo's offense, but I think Webo's defense will be able to keep Lebanon in check, if that all makes sense. Frankfort is tough to gauge any team against, just not competitive lately. I gotcha. Let's see, how is Frankfort doing this year? I mean, they did lose 63 to 27 to Lebanon. Yeah, 1-6 on the year. Not a good year for the Hot Dogs. The Hot Dogs have been what's a bad brand of hot dogs? You would like them to be Nathan's. I do like Ballpark. The Frankfurt hot dogs have been more of a gas station hot dog this year as opposed to Nathan's. Who comes out of the North for 6A? Dude, it's gonna be tough. I mean, there are a lot of good teams at the top in 6A. It's tough to gauge. I mean, you've got, I mean, looking at the Bar S Dogs, yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Let's see here. All right. How many states do you have in USA? 50. Big ol' 5-0. I mean, pardon me, these may not all be from the north, but I mean, you've got Brownsburg 7-0, 8-0 now. You've got Center Grove 7-1, Cathedral 6-1, Hamilton Southeastern 8-0, Carmel 5-3. Carmel's a sneaky team. I know their record doesn't really show it. You've got Carroll 8-0, Crown Point 8-0, Fisher's 5-3. Again, a team where their record doesn't really indicate how good they are. Westfield 5-3 now. There's so many good teams in 6A. I'm interested to see, and we'll be live again for the pairing show on Sunday. And I think that might just be TikTok rather than YouTube. But again, go check out the YouTube channel. I think what we're gonna start doing, I like to plan on the fly. I think what we might be, if this does save my VOD and in the future, let's say you miss it, I think I'm gonna post these TikToks to YouTube, and we'll get that going. But yeah, there's so many good teams in 6A, and I mean, you might think, well, hey, that goes without saying, it's the top class in the state. But I mean, the last couple of years, you could just kind of pencil in Center Grove, you could pencil in Carmel, you could pencil in Westfield. This year, I think, is one of the more wide open years that we've got. I really like what Brownsburg's doing. Pick at the beginning of the year was Cathedral. So you don't want to move off of that selection. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough to come up with a definitive favorite. Let's see. Let's catch up on some noties here. Look through our list of Let's see. From 42 minutes ago, Calumet 12-0 on Ingot right now. Carmel didn't play Ben Davis tonight. Why am I getting that tweet now? Weird. Another team talking about 3A. A team that has surprised me this year is Gibson Southern. I figured, losing Brady Allen was going to be a little bit too much for them to overcome this season. So the fact that they've, kind of picked up where they have left off is pretty good. I believe that 6A goes to the Bulldogs this year. Yeah, I'm with you. I've kind of championed the Bulldogs this year. Because they were my preseason dark horse. So I'm very excited that they're doing well. And they've gone out and they've done it against everybody that they've had to go out and play well against. I'm interested to see what Um, I'm interested to see what that Hamilton Southeastern Brownsburg game will be like. But looking at Brownsburg on the year, just in total, I mean, beat Cathedral, beat Fishers, beat Westfield, beat Zionsville, and all, you know, pretty impressively. I mean, 47-point win against Zionsville, 17-point win against Westfield, 13-point win against Fishers, 17-point win against Noblesville tonight. Big 39-point win over Avon, 35-point win over Franklin Central. Only two close games of the year were against Ben Davis and Cathedral. So, I mean, they've just run roughshod over everybody. So I thought they would be good. Because I think at the beginning of the year, the thought process, at least for me, was that Jaden Whitaker was going to be good. I didn't think he would be as good as he has been this year. I figured it was just that was why they were kind of my dark horse, because I was like, he's a good quarterback, and he'll be able to do well for Brownsburg, and he's just been, beyond expectations. Decatur is disappointing this year. Hey, I know when we put out our preview TikToks at the beginning of the year for the football season, I had a lot of people in the comments talking about Decatur, and I was like, I don't know about them this year, and they have not played well. Evansville Memorial gets their 600th win in football history. East Central 7-1 after their win over Garin Catholic. North is basically Hamilton Southeastern, Carmel, Westfield, Fishers, and then Fort Wayne schools. Yeah, I should have known that, because I forget that there's only 32 teams in 6A, so that makes sense. Then if I have to picking someone out of the North, I think I have to go. If that doesn't include Brownsburg, if it's just those schools, between Carroll and Hamilton Southeastern, who should I go with? Because Carroll is absolutely just beaten the tar out of everybody they've played this year, I feel like. Ben Davis could be a sleeper. They're streaky. Yeah, they really are. I mean, they've got the ability to go out there and be really good. They've got the ability to also not be so good, which I know is the definition of streaky. That's literally just what you said, but I'm agreeing with you. Let's see. Lawrenceburg with the 38-0 win over Connorsville. Roncalli at East Central next Friday. That's going to be a fun one. Fort Wayne schools, get is that demolished in regionals every year? Yeah. But Carroll's so good, though. Evading the pressure. Let's see, Carmel. Oh, that was a good throw. But didn't they lose to Warren Central? Let me look back at that score. Carmel did get beat by Warren Central. Is Carmel the Los Angeles Angels of high school football? Because I feel like I see really cool highlights from them every week, and they lose. How do you feel about Tri-High? I mean, they've got some solid talent on their team, that's for sure. We were just talking about their running back. Being one of the better running backs, being one of the only running backs above 1,000 yards in 1A. So that's pretty impressive. West Lafayette's going to be good come tournament time. Avon over Zionsville, I know. Avon's another team that, like, I feel like Avon and Noblesville are two teams that I feel like have played, like, they've played well enough to be a team that, like, ruined somebody's sectionals this year. They've played like a team that can ruin a sectional for somebody this year. Like, it'll depend on what happens come time for the pairings. But yeah, I feel like those are two teams that have played better than their record shows this year. Bishop Lures with the win, 42-0 over Southside. Southside has not had a good year this year. Our preseason 1A championship pick, the South Adams Stars get the win over Woodlands, 38-32 tonight. That Noblesville offense is hard to stop. Yeah, they really are. Like, Noblesville has that record this year where, like, they go up and I feel like I see, like, cool highlights from them and I see good stats from them, and then I'm like, oh man, they're 2-5. They're 2-5. But I mean, they've been close. Northview over Edgewood. Wait, Edgewood has red turf? That's nice. That's neat. Big touchdown run here.
Rushing touchdown. Tyler Lee opens the game up with one.
Let's watch this.
Two receivers to the near side with Tyler Lee in the backfield. Gotti hands off to Tyler Lee, who's been a phenom all season long. And how about this? In the Red Sea, it parts away for a 70-yard.
4 rushing touchdowns for Tyler Lee tonight.
Opens the game up with
for
one carry
Northview.
For 70 yards.
3C Media Player of the Week nominee right there.
Red turf parted like the.
Thoughts on the Fishers Westfield game? Very surprised that Fishers did not win that game. And surprised that not only did they not win, they lost by 2 scores. I definitely thought that, because this season, the ball seems to have bounced in Fisher's direction. I know they did lose to, they lost to Brownsburg, they lost to Hamilton Southeastern, but I feel like Fisher's has been has had the ball bounce in their way a lot this year, and Westfield, I feel like, has been on the wrong side of some of those instances. So I definitely thought Fishers would win, especially at home. But hey, good win by Westfield. I mean, those are two really good 6A teams, number 8 and number 9, respectively, in the state. How do you feel about Fort Wayne Snyder and 5A? I see a lot of good highlights from them. I feel like every single week. So I think they're going to be really good. I think they can. It all just depends on, at this point in the year. It all just depends kind of on what their draw is going to be. Let's see who's in their sectional. Who's in Fort Wayne Snyder's sectional? Fort Wayne Snyder. I mean, they're number 2 in 5A. So let's see. Fort Wayne North, Anderson, Dwenger. Okay, so I think Fort Wayne Snyder, they're going to get out of the sectional. They're going to get out of sectional 12. There's no doubt in my mind. They can beat Anderson. Dwenger isn't super impressive. Northside did give Snyder a lot to handle week 1. It looks like 20-18, but no, I like Snyder. I like Snyder to get out of sectional 12. I don't care how the pairings shake out. Clip it. Make sure you make that a TikTok when I inevitably jinx them and they lose. Owen Valley. Owen Valley is good. Avon stinks this year, 1-7, and they've been getting rocked. I don't know. I feel like I've seen them. I feel like I see highlights of their quarterback all the time. Owen Valley beat Greencastle 41-7. Thoughts on Andrean? Andrean has been a team that I've not really been worried about this year. I mean, they're 5-2. They started out 0-2, losing to Maryville and Crown Point, which those are two good, teams that are, 5A, 6A schools that have been good in their own right this year. They beat, East Chicago, Highland, Hobart. Hobart's good. Munster. I'm not really worried about Andrean. I think they're a contender. B. Scott and I picked them to win 2A this year, so I'm not worried about Andrean. I am not worried about Andrean at all. Oh. Let's see. Avon lost. They lost 44-13. Okay, so I guess they have been getting rocked. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like I see, maybe it's just because of their quarterback. I know their quarterback was supposed to be really good this year, but I just feel like I see, them in games. maybe I'm only seeing, the first little bit of their scores. Hey, I mean, they almost beat Fishers, right? They were close against Westfield. I was like, I know they were close against some of these schools at the beginning of the year. If only Scott Ballantyne didn't get hurt against Maryville, we could have beat Crown Point. Yeah, that's rough. Brownsburg's good. They're gonna be good. Hey, what's going on, Trevor? Good to see you, Craig. I thought the title of the live stream should have the letter T in there. Did I not put a T in there? That's fine. You got the gist. That's all that matters. Look, this was hastily made at kind of the last minute, but I'm glad you showed up. Providence. I see a lot of good things about Providence football. They are doing well this year. Andrean against Lowell is going to be a good game for the last game of the season. There's a lot of really good matchups in week number 9, which will be back again next Friday. Probably a different setup. Like I said, I don't know that it will be on YouTube too. This was just kind of looking how this would go. I think this has gone well, if I'm thinking out loud. Let's see. Need to update my tweets here. It really does say Friday night reactions. Here, we're on the fly. We're going to put the T in there. There we go. Fixed it. Trevor, the best mod. Trevor for mod of the year. Let's see this Crown Point highlight. I thought that was going to be a touchdown at first, though. What about this one? Crown Point is another team that's kind of impressed me this year. With how good they've been. Because, yeah, when they only beat Andrean, but now, granted, I know Andrean, plays well above their class as far as, they're a 2A school, but they play a lot better. Thanks for doing that. No problem. They're better, than just being 2A. Like, they're not just, your normal run-of-the-mill 2A school, but still, I mean, you would think, a 6A school would win a little bit more convincingly, so I wasn't so sure. But yeah, I mean, they've taken care of business in a lot of their other games this year, and I mean, got a win over Chesterton. They're 8-0. When's the last time Crown Point's been 8-0? It's probably been a while. Last time they were 8-0, 2006. They made it out of sectional, lost to LaPorte in the regional. So 2006, you'd have to go back to the last time Crown Point started 8-0. Pretty impressive. Norwell gets the 56-0 win over Huntington tonight. See here. Chesterton, or so not Chesterton, wow. Crown Points. 8-0 for the first time since 2006. Tweet. Maryville's going to be a tough out. Yeah, they really are. Who is disappointed the most in 6A this year? That's... You know... I mean, I think you'd like to think... Like, I don't know. I feel like I hear a lot about Lawrence North every year. Like, Lawrence North was built up a lot at the beginning of the year there, but they're number 20 in the state right now. I don't know. I just feel like I hear a lot about Lawrence North, and they're 3-5. You'd like to, for them to be a little bit better. I'm just trying to think about a team like that had high hopes at the beginning of the year and like has not lived up to that. Yeah, but Avon wasn't that good last year either. Because I remember in the preseason, everybody was hyping them up because of their quarterback, but he was good, but he was kind of good in spite of their record. Yeah, Crown Point's going to be a tough out. Maryville's going to be a tough out. Let's look at 6A a little bit more. Let's look at Sagarin ratings. That's always fun. Let's see. So according to the Sagarin ratings, which aren't really ones that I take to heart, but I mean, you've got Brownsburg 1, Center Grove 2, Cathedral 3, Hamilton Southeastern 4, Carmel 5, Ben Davis 6, Carroll 7, Fishers 8th, Crown Point 9th, Westfield 10th. And I'm looking at the teams at the bottom. Maybe. I mean, Pike, I feel like, is always one of those teams that's hyped up. But were they really supposed to be good this year? I think maybe by default. Pike hasn't gotten a win this year. And I mean, but they were 1-9 last year, though. Oh, Pike has not been good for a while. Am I living in 2000 and? Am I living in like 2013? I thought, okay, Pike's not been good for a while. Never mind. I really am living in the past here. I thought Pike. I feel like when I was growing up, Pike was always good. So never mind. Forget I said Pike. Forget I said Pike. I mean, maybe Noblesville. Like, I know we were, like, talking them up earlier, and they really have, like, hung in a lot of games, but you're opening up a new stadium. I know they weren't that good last year, but they have, like, that big win at the beginning of the year. Because didn't they beat... No, Mount Vernon won their game. Who'd they beat week 1? They should be good athletes, but not able to string it together. Yeah. Yeah, like, I feel like when... Like, oh, not Avon. Maybe Avon just because they don't have a win. I think we'll go that. You have that new offensive scheme for Noblesville. Yeah, so I'm gonna agree with you, Indy Will. I'm gonna say Avon. Even though like 20 minutes ago I was like, isn't Avon like decent? And I was wrong, obviously. But I think you gotta go Avon, just because they have a good quarterback and are 0-7. They haven't won a game. Yeah. Providence is doing well in football, though it's disappointing that their 35-28 victory over Charlestown 3 weeks ago altered to a forfeit. Why is that? Why did that happen? Yeah, Avon. I'm good with going Avon. Yeah. Okay, so Noblesville did beat Mount Vernon Fortville at the beginning of the year. Okay, I thought they got the win. Yeah, so Noblesville started 2-0. I'm not moving off of Avon because I think that is the right call. But yeah, you would like to think a team that's got like a notable quarterback would be better than like a middling 0-7 6A school. So I'm with you on that. Avon will be tough when their freshman class get to their junior season. I gotcha. So yeah. They're on their way. Apparently, Providence allowed a freshman transfer to play in that game despite not completing all the paperwork. I gotcha. That's rough. That's rough. Semantics. That's no bueno. North Decatur improves to 8-0 after a blowout of Switzerland County, 56-0. A lot of 56-0s tonight. Anybody got any early favorites for player of the week this week? Offense and defense, we've been covering that pretty well. Let's see here. Looking at some of the sectionals here. Carmel, Westfield, and Zionsville are all in the same sectional. That's going to be fun. Could you imagine if it's Brownsburg, Ben Davis? Like, you would like to think, you'd like to hope that Brownsburg and Ben Davis will play, like, for the sectional championship, but I feel like that's going to potentially not work out. They're going to be like, you know what, Ben Davis, Brownsburg. Week 1 of the sectional. Yeah, Maryville's going to make it out of their sectional. That's for sure. With how they've played this year, they're far and away better. Not to give away what the our sectional preview show will look like, but all right, guys. I think things have kind of slowed down a bit as far as score updates, things like that. The games have wrapped up. Maybe next week we'll go live a little bit earlier. We'll kind of see this. Like I said, this tonight was a little bit of an experiment, just to kind of see what this kind of content would look like on the channel. So again, if you were watching on YouTube tonight, go check out TikTok. If you were watching TikTok tonight, go check out the YouTube channel because at least one will end up being on the other. So most likely we'll take the TikTok live, put it on YouTube for the following day if you do miss one in the future. So make sure you're watching out for that. There is going to be a Crash Course podcast this week. We're going to be talking about the Colts. Definitely not going to be talking a whole lot about the travesty that was last night's game, but we are going to kind of give a recap and our thoughts on the first 5 weeks of the season. So we'll do that, what the future may hold there. So that's coming out. We're also going to be live again, at least on TikTok, on Sunday for the pairing show. So watch out for that. We're also going to be live next week as well. We're going to have an all 3C media team for the end of the year coming up over the next couple of weeks, and we're also going to give our sectional preview show here in the next couple of weeks. So make sure you guys are locked into that at 3C Media on YouTube, at 3C Media on TikTok, at 3C Media Sports on Twitter. Make sure you're looking at that so you know when we're going live, when we're putting out new content and stuff. So this was a lot of fun, a good experiment, to have here, this week. I wanted to kind of see what it would look like, and I think it went really well. So thank you guys all for watching, hanging out tonight. And let's see, how do I close this? This will be interesting. This will be a funny little thing. All right, well, again, thank you guys all for hanging out tonight, and I will see you guys